Rory, congratulations on the Duchess. I mean, you've done TV before, but this is Netflix. Does this feel different?
I guess in a way, just because of the model of Netflix and how they go about releasing stuff, in the sense that, you know, you can't really escape it. It's on your computer and it's on your telly and it's on your phone. So I think in that way, yeah, it feels like a slightly different process. I've done stuff before that's on Netflix, but not necessarily a Netflix original.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great from start to finish.
And how did you get involved? Did you know Katherine before all of this?
Not at all, no. I knew the casting director, another Katherine, and I read with her, and then they brought me in to do a chemistry read with Katherine Ryan, which is always a bit weird because, you know, you can't really create instant chemistry, but you can fake it. So I pretty much faked it, and it took off from there.
It is really weird though, because like usually you'd like to get to know someone, even if it's like a 10-minute chat beforehand. But are you, in those chemistry reads, are you literally just going into the room going, here's the script, off you go, be these people we want you to be and have chemistry?
Yeah, sometimes it is like that. And it's a bit off-putting, I guess, because what they're looking for is a previous history when obviously there is none. But on this one, I was lucky enough to kind of have a chat with Katherine just beforehand, and the director and producer, and they kind of put me at ease, which was nice. And so we just kind of shot the breeze for a while and then got into it. But we worked really well, I think, from the beginning, even in those early reads. So it was apparent that we could create some sort of chemical thing between us.
Well,
so,
your scenes, I have to say, are some of the funniest, and the banter that you two get to have.
yeah.
Did you get to ad-lib at all, or was that all straight from the script?
There was a little bit of ad-libbing, yeah. I mean, Katherine is very generous because obviously she wrote the series, and she was very open to our input in those scenes. And I don't think she had originally written the character as Irish as well. So I guess she would ask me, you know, is this something that you would say as a Dubliner, or, you know, can we change the syntax around here and there? And so there was a lot of that stuff going on, and you know, you always kind of record what's written on the script first off, and then, you know, the more takes you do, of which there are many, then you start kind of riffing and ad-libbing, and then it's up to the editor to deal with the mess that we left behind. So,
You've done comedy before, and you've done comedy in theatre, where I think doing comedy in theatre is fantastic because you know whether you've landed the gag or not. But on TV, and especially when you're doing so many takes, do you just forget about landing the gag and just being in character, or do you just hope that the gag lands?
I think it's funny doing it for TV, because in a way, yeah, like you say, there's instant gratification in the theater. You know something is working or not working. And if you approach that in the same way, I think on TV, you're kind of doomed, because what you're looking for is a reaction from the crew or from your opposite, whoever you're playing opposite, or anyone around the camera. And sometimes things are funny because of the context of that person, because a person knows you and knows you're maybe not like that, or knows you maybe are like that. So they might be laughing for a completely different reason than, you know, someone who would watch it not knowing me would laugh at. So it's kind of tricky. You just kind of have to trust the material, I think, and kind of take it from there. But I mean, on paper, it's funny. You know, there's some really funny stuff in this. So we knew that as long as we kind of stuck to the text and as long as we were true to the characters, then it would kind of land, you know.
Talking about the characters, your character Shep is a washed up boy band member who has been described as the last one to leave the stool, get up off the stool on stage. How would you describe him?
That is one way of describing him. I'd say, I'd say he's probably the key change guy, you know.
In Westlife, who would you be?
Oh God, you're challenging me now with the names. I guess I'll tell you, if we go back to Boyzone,
let's do that then.
I think maybe there's a bit of Keith in him.
Yeah.
There's a bit of kind of, you know, hard-edged Keith in him. Might be a better singer than Keith. I don't know. I think he'll forgive me for saying that. But who knows? I don't know. There was probably auto-tuning with this fake boy band. So it probably didn't matter if anyone was a good singer or not. But yeah, he's pretty much a washed up has-been, I guess, who is living this really odd alternative life. He's living on a boat. He's determined to stay off grid. He's anti-government. He's anti-society. He's anti-everything. He forages for food. He doesn't have a job or money. And he's just he's happy in his existence, you know. He had this mad life with the boy band during the late 90s and early 2000s, and something happened along the way. We don't quite know yet, but he's thrown all that in the bin and lives as this kind of wild man of the canal.
I find it really hard to find a redeeming character trait in him, but when you play a character, I'm sure you have to find something. So what is his redeeming character trait?
I think certainly in the context of what we see in the show, I think it's probably his devotion to his daughter. Although he is a madman and in many ways he's not a conventional father. You could argue he's not a very good father in that he doesn't really provide for her, but he always makes sure that he's in her life, and he's just completely devoted to her. I think she really gets a kick out of him because he leads such a different life to her mother that he's kind of both a cool uncle and a cool dad in a weird way. She knows that she's going to have fun when she goes to see him.
It's great that you have this coming out now, because you can celebrate. Like, I know it was filmed a while ago, but you can celebrate some work that you have been doing. How has lockdown been for you, not being able to do what you love most?
Do you know what? It's been all right. I mean, first and foremost, you know, we're very lucky. We live in a place, you know, has a little outdoor space, and we're fine, you know. So in that sense, it's been fine. Work-wise, I've been oddly busy actually doing bits and bobs. I've written a short film that I'm directing in October with that my wife's going to be in, and we actually filmed a film for BBC in the flat.
No way!
We shot it over Zoom with a whole camera crew who were operating remotely, and we managed to do that. And we've kind of been as creative as you can be without making too much banana bread, you know. So it's been all right. I've quite enjoyed a lot of it, I have to say. Just kind of, you know, separating yourself from the madness for a while. So it's been all right.
And I suppose being in any creative industry, you have to be creative anyway. I mean, even pre-lockdown, there's times in your life where you go through long periods of unemployment. How, as an actor and a director and a producer, how do you deal with stuff like that? Like, for anyone thinking, I want to get into this industry, how do you deal with the down? Because the highs are so high, but the lows are really rough.
They are. I guess in a way, people in the creative industry have always been resilient because we've never really had a massive pot to make work from in terms of, you know, financially. So we've always had to be creative about being creative, if you like.
Yeah. So
in a way, you know, we've experienced this long before many other people have in different industries. So I think it's been challenging, certainly. I mean, you know, you feel for people who maybe solely do theater and don't do any TV or any other work, or maybe haven't got schooling in any other industry. You'd feel for those people because, you know, if theaters are closed, work cannot happen. Yeah, I think creative industries are looking at alternative ways to bring work to people, and they've been very creative in that over lockdown. And I think that's going to continue. Like I say, you know, we've never really had the pick of, most actors haven't really had the pick of work in their professional lifetimes. So I don't see this as much different, really.
I think the one thing that lockdown has sort of shone upon us is how important the arts are. Because for a long time, people are like, you know, the arts aren't important. But what has gotten us through, Rory, are the arts. Like, if you think about it, we're all listening to music. We're turning to TV. We're turning to the creative stuff. So, you know, as tough as it is, do you think this might be a turning point for the arts when things get back on their feet and hopefully people pay a bit more attention?
Hopefully they do. I mean, people pay attention to the arts without necessarily knowing they are, like you're suggesting. Because one thing that people were talking about all through lockdown is, what did you see on Netflix? What did you see online? What did you... it's how we kind of connect with each other without, you know, being in the same physical space. So hopefully this will start a kind of mini revolution about how much people are willing to pay for it. Because in order for it to happen, people need to pay for it. And everyone can talk up, you know, how wonderful the arts are and how incredible, you know, our country is. When people from abroad come and they see what our amazing product that we provide them, but a lot of people aren't willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
And in order to kind of keep that up, and in order to be able to continue to say that in the future, I think certainly governments are going to have to knuckle down and come up with the readies.
Yeah, and hopefully we do. Hopefully we do too, because as I said, there's a newfound appreciation for what it brings us into our life. As there's going to be an appreciation for the Duchess, are you excited about there possibly being a season 2? And yes, I'm asking you, is there a season 2?
Well, I think we're all hopeful that there will be. There's nothing confirmed yet. I think we're going to see how this one goes, see what the reaction is. I'm sure there's all sorts of algorithms that Netflix have to decide whether or not something goes again. But certainly the intention from the beginning was to make it a longer running thing. It's not just a standalone one series show. So fingers crossed we'll get to do it again.
Well, I'm hoping I get to see Shep again, because it's exactly what we need, just some escapism and just some laughs. So thank you so much for that, Rory.
Thank you. Cheers, Serena.